freedom, freedom, freedom over fame, freedom over cycle stays the same.
You don't need the latest to be the greatest. You know, this is an unscripted video that I probably would regret if I do not make it, because it has been on my mind for the past, I would say, month or so. The idea that nowadays the focus is on attentions in terms of advertisement, in terms of video, in terms of contents. It really shaped our perspective to what we need and what we really want to have. With new tech coming out every year or so, a year and a half, a lot of people, myself included, are hooked into the idea that you have to get that latest thing in order to future-proof yourself or to not regret it later on. And I believe it is time for us to really be considerate with our needs carefully, especially in nowadays economy. I want to make this video because I have been overthinking about what I need in terms of my next machine. I've been using the M1, the 2020 M1 Mac for the past nearly 3 years, and I've been super happy with it, but this year it has been slowing down quite a bit, you know, because I have more projects from clients, ever more than before. I've worked on this YouTube project of mine, I have worked on my own personal project, so all of that combined is putting quite an obstacle on my machine, and it really hinders a lot of my productivity. So on a quest to search for the next laptop, the next machine, there are so many options out there, and with the Apple Silicon hype coming out, with the M3 going to come out, the M3 Pro, the M3 Max, when is it going to come out? I've been on that. I've been saying to myself, I will wait for the M2. The M2 comes out, it's not that impressive. I'll wait for the M3, and then the iPhone 15 comes out. The 3nm technology is not too great. And then I was like, I really need a new machine right now. Do I want to wait another year or so? Or do I go for an older model and just use it and see how it works? And another thing is the financial. You know, if we wait for the latest and the greatest, or supposedly greatest, obviously it's going to be more expensive. So it really put quite a bit of stress, not crazy level of stress, it's just a bit of stress onto myself in terms of what I want to buy. It just goes to show how much the entire world nowadays, in terms of how things are being marketed, in terms of how myself, a young impressionable audience at 23 years old, are being affected in terms of what decision to make, in terms of what to buy. It just goes to show that it is an actual issue. And I'm not just saying that because it's me who is thinking that. I went on Reddit, I went on YouTube comments, I went on Instagram, Facebook forum, and a lot of people are expressing the same thoughts, that they are quite unsure, or that they are afraid that they would regret their decision. People seeking reassurance about machines that they have bought. And all of that combined deepened my fear of regret. If I were to buy it, will I regret it a year later? And I do not want to have that. I want to spend my money, use it for a good 4 to 5 years, and then moving on to another tech later on when it gets better. So that is what was putting fear in me. The fact that, oh, what is the next thing? And the fact that we don't want to regret missing out, the fear of missing out. So I put on a break, stopped searching for the latest and the greatest, stop believing that the latest will always be the greatest, and instead look at tech more objectively. What do I need? What are my necessities? What are people saying about the M1 Max or the older generation of Mac? And the general sentiment is that nowadays techs are a lot different. Before, yes, there is more of a fear of missing out, because let's say you bought the Intel in 2019 and then the M1 comes out in 2020, it become increasingly better, you're going to regret, right? Because you're essentially buying a 1 year older machine, but the 1 year machine ahead is exponentially better than the older model. But nowadays it's a lot different. You buy the M1 machine, the M2 is just 20% better or 30% better in terms of GPU. The same goes for the M1 Max, the M1 Pro, moving to the M2 Pro and the M1 Max. At first, I was hesitating between the two decisions because a lot of people are obviously saying that the M2 Max is better, but a lot of people are also saying that the M1 Max is too good for a lot of people. And even Marques Brownlee, Mr. Who's the Boss, and also other tech YouTubers are still using the M1 Max. So I was like, who am I to go for the M2 Max? I'm just using my laptop for cinematography, photography, graphic design, little 3D modeling projects, am I really going to use the M2 Max to the full potential? Am I really going to use the latest and supposedly greatest technology provided by the Apple Silicon? Probably not. And for a price of $700 to $800 more than what the M1 Max has to offer, is it really worth it for that 20% CPU improvement, 30% GPU improvement? And analyzing my needs, seeing through tech objectively, I made my decision. I bought the M1 Max, and I would say that it is one of the best tech investment that I made in 2023, no caps. The other day I made a video about the monitor that I bought, saying that it is the best tech investment, and in terms of productivity wise, it is the best. But for values for money, I believe that the M1 Max is genuinely the best tech investment that I made late 2023, because after using it for 4 to 5 days, export time, rendering times, and even storage, 4 TB for $700 less for the base model of M2 Max, that is insane. And it just crushed through every single thing that I put on the M1 Max. Everything went smoothly, not a single hiccup. And that genuinely brought me to answer the question that the latest is not always the greatest. Of course, if you have money, go buy the M2 Max. But still, even if you have money, just be considerate with it, because you never know, you might need it for other things, or you might have a bad habit of overspending for things you don't really need. So yeah, just be considerate with your money, whether you have a lot or not, because you will eventually develop that good habit of saving. So yeah, I don't know if this video really makes sense to you guys or not. The moral of the story, the moral of this video is that you don't need the latest to be the greatest. Sometimes you just need to understand yourself and be objective with what you're spending on. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to smash a like and a subscribe. With that being said, thanks you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks, goodbye, and peace.